for adolescents and young people. I think many of you know that this has been an ongoing debate on whether adolescents and young people should, in the first place, be given sexual reproductive health services. And so, because it has been an ongoing debate, some for, some against, because some believe if you set up a clinic the way we've done, you are encouraging young people to have sex. And this is the perception that other people have. So for so many years, different models were tried, starting with adolescent corners. You go in an ordinary clinic and you kind of say there's a corner there for adolescents. Others tried youth-friendly centers that were standalone. Others tried, sneaking in services for young people and just leaving them to join the queue like everybody else. But we know, hearing from the young people themselves, that they have been asking for a standalone service. They've been telling us about the discomfort of sitting in the same queue with your mother. They've been telling us about the discomfort of being attended to by an adult service nurse who in their eyes looks like their mother, and often ask them questions like, why are you here? Do your parents know that you are here? Why are you they judge them. And so eventually, when we started working in Rushinga, we saw how much teen pregnancies are happening in this community. We also saw that there's a very high rate of child marriages. By child marriages, I mean any girl who gets married before they reach the age of 18. And even in just talking to leaders in this community, they were telling us that if a girl reaches 22 and they are not yet married, they can even be stigmatized by the community. And so we then realized there's a huge need here. There's a huge need for information about sexual and reproductive health. There's also a huge need around just advocating for the girl child to not go into child marriages, so that girls are given an opportunity to grow and be whoever they want to be. So that was part of what drove us to then say, this could be a very good place for us to set up an adolescent clinic and put it next to a proper health place. So it's not in its own place, it is within the same ground with a health center, but it is specifically for adolescents. You also heard this morning the sister saying, we don't send it, so it's an adolescent SRHR clinic. But if someone comes with a toothache and they're an adolescent, they don't necessarily ask them to go away. They will attend them and refer them if they need to be referred. And that is what we want to see, an almost integrated approach to provision of services. So what I saw today, I believe, is exactly what we wanted to see. One of the major things we wanted was a low-cost model, because if you are going to replicate, you cannot replicate something that is expensive. So we deliberately made sure that it's not fancy. It has what you need. It has a table, it has a bed, it is a chair. That's what you need to see an adolescent and young person. And if you want to replicate, we can easily replicate this because it did not cost us a lot. And you see, you can use free, fabricated buildings. All that is important, because if you want to go at scale, you need to make sure that it's affordable. Yes.
If I heard you clearly, you said that you got feedback that it is uncomfortable for some of the adolescents to then share the queue with people that consider their parents or people their parents' age. So what is then the reason of putting the facilities within the same complex, which the entry point is practically the same?
Because we don't want to separate from the concept of health. And we also know that because our adolescent clinic does more than just illness. So if a young person is entering the gate, it does not necessarily mean that they are pregnant, or they are coming for family planning, or they are coming for condoms. They could be coming for the conversations that are going to be happening, the dialogues that they will be happening here. They could also be coming for the life skills that you saw outside, which will also be happening here. So it's a more expanded, but a health center in a district like this is a rallying point for people. And it's a safe place. You also want to avoid, putting young people at risk by putting a center where, when they are going there, they might be scared, they might be worried about being ambushed.
We know of so many schools in different places, and mostly some of them have got challenge of transport in terms of traveling, coming to this clinic. And what are the measures that we're going to put so that to ensure maybe those children, they cannot walk maybe more than 10, 15 kilometers or to 30 kilometers to look for medication? What are going to help?
For services. You saw the GBV desk, which was being demonstrated there. That is found in a school, and we plan to put those in every school. So that becomes the starting point for any child who is not well. They will go to the GBV desk. If they need services to come out this far, in our planning, we intend to have transport vouchers to support, let's say, a girl who has been raped and has no money to go to come to this clinic. They will get a transport voucher at the GBV desk to help them to go for services. But the transport voucher will be very much restricted to really, really serious cases.
Clinics of this kind being opened across the country, and if yes, how many are they? In what period?
This is our desire. SAFEDS alone will not be able to set up all the adolescent clinics everywhere. What we are trying to do here is to role model to other partners that this can be done at a low cost and it can work. Once that becomes the message, we know that other partners like UNFPA will take other districts and set them up. Other partners like USAID, they will also take the model and set it up. Ultimately, at the end, we hope that we can have an adolescent clinic almost everywhere we have a health center.
There are some of them who are not really up for the idea. As much as the kids might want to come, they might be restricted. So what mechanism is there to encourage the parents to understand what's really happening?
We have to continue dialoguing with the parents and the traditional leaders, because we know these are the custodians within the community. However, you also need to understand that for every parent, the word sex is a concern, even for me as a parent. And all the time when a parent hears that word, they want to be sure that the place that the child is going to is safe and not end up as a risk area. And so how this clinic is going to deliver its work is going to be very, very important to convince the parents that this place is actually helping our children. We hope that we can have role models out of this program that will show the parents that if children are in this program, they will not get teenage pregnancies and they will not rush into early marriages. And we had, when we were in the GBV desk, the young people were speaking themselves, saying for the first time this term we didn't have anyone who eloped. And this is because the standard was when they approach Form 4, Form 5, Form 6, girls just start to disappear every term, getting married. And they were saying for the first time we didn't have anyone who eloped. And we need more of those stories so that the parents can see that the program is making a difference. And I think we have the DNO here, he will be able to answer that even better than me. But I think in my observation is the issue of poverty. The issue of poverty, the fact that even if a girl completes her A-levels tomorrow, if there is no way for her to go to university, and then she still ends up in the community married anyway, how does that motivate other girls that are behind her? So the lack of connection to access to a higher level of education is really an issue. If you look at this district, the nearest university is Bindura University. How many of the parents in this community can afford for their children to go to Bindura University? I think there are very few. And that in itself is always going to present challenges. As we move forward, we really need to think critically around what is the bridge for these girls when they finish A-level. How do we get them to universities? How do we get them to colleges? There's not even a college here. So it's almost a dead-end life. And I think the only thing a girl sees around her is marriage. And they just end up getting married.
Affected by perception, maybe sometimes based on information asymmetry or ignorance. For instance, when PrEP first came through, people were saying that it is for commercial sex workers. And then you have other clinics in Harare or in other places where people actually label those clinics, say, Okokune people like this. So I want to know how this center is going to navigate perception held in the community. If it's negative.
It's really all about the kinds of services we're going to provide, the information that will be disseminated from here. And so our program staff here have a big job to make sure that we are continuously writing articles about this program, so that we are giving accurate information out there and trying to address any myths, any perceptions that seem to be coming up. Information is power, and as you see, the SAFED slogan is knowledge for action, information is power. Because once people have correct information, then that's how you dispel the myths and the wrong perceptions. It's for us to know how many young people are actually coming to the clinic. Before we even worry for why are they coming? Are they even coming to the clinic? Be it for information, be it out of curiosity. Can they come here and be comfortable and be able to refer their other friends and see this as their place? That is a big indicator for us that the program is in the right direction. The second thing we want to look at is when we look at the statistics, there are indicators that we should be we should be able to see. How many of those young people came here specifically for sexual reproductive health? And what kind of sexual reproductive health services were they looking for? Did they get them? Because it's one thing for young people to come, it's another if they keep coming and they're always given excuses, or they are told, no, we don't provide this service. Eventually they will stop coming. So we want to see what kinds of services they are looking for. Are they getting those services? If they are not getting them, what is it? What are the reasons? How can the program fill in those gaps to make sure that the place remains attractive for young people? This program is being successful. We also want to check with the number of young people. How many teenage pregnancies did we have? So beginning 2019, when this clinic opened, end of the year, we are going to look at the data and compare. Did we manage to reduce teenage pregnancies? Did we manage to reduce STIs? Did we reduce number of new HIV infections? And did we also reduce sexual gender-based violence? Because that is also an important indicator. So all those indicators will be tracking. And a major indicator ultimately is child marriages. We also want, are we going to reduce that? Because for us, we are very interested in that. We can provide all these services, but if we continue to marry 14-year-olds, then the program needs to be adjusted. 20 kilometers from here, we opened an information resource center, and you are welcome. We are going to go there from here. We opened a resource center where we put computers, we put snooker, we put games, things that young people want. Our problem at the resource center is that girls are not going there. Only boys are going to the resource center. Here, because we are talking health, we are seeing more girls coming. It's just confirming what we already know. Male-seeking behavior, health-seeking behavior is very poor, So we are trying to strategize how to get girls to also come to the resource center And we will be strategizing as well how to get the boys to also come for healthcare. With the young men, we know when they get an STI, their first kind of is a traditional healer or another big boy who will say, no, you just drink these herbs, you'll be fine, don't worry. It's never, let me go to the clinic. So we need to give new teaching around that. And working with men and boys is Nakai's special area of specialization. So one of his challenges is going to ensure that we have boys also coming to the clinic.
Okay, maybe just
youth for the clubs that they are doing in the communities and the in-school clubs. But we're going to branch and have male-specific ones. We're looking forward in the not distant time to have fatherhood clubs to complement what's happening. And this is a deliberate way of targeting men and boys. Like she said, men and boys, we have poor and low-seeking behaviors. And sometimes we don't want to come to issues of health. We don't want to hear negative news. So we don't show up in spaces like this. So what we're going to do is, besides the community dialogues, besides the intergenerational and intersex dialogues that we're doing, we're going to have male-specific. Even here, there is a model that we're going to pilot through the DNO, where we're going to set a small little place where older men are going to be talking to boys. But we're deliberately going to put it here. We're discussing around that issue yesterday, and the next time you come here, you see a little kind of diary where an older men are going to be talking to younger boys. But we're going to do it at the health institution, so that if they have issues, they can then be directed to the services. We are not going to do it away from this center because we also want to increase the number of boys. But we have deliberate steps that we're going to take to ensure that boys are here. And boys in school, it's easier because they are already in school. We're going to see how they are already mobilized. I think the difficult boys to catch are the boys outside school, as they have other conflicting interests. They want to go and look for the next dollar. They want to go here, and uncle in this place is calling them to come and spend 5 weeks or whatever. But we're going to put that structure in place so that we make sure that we increase the number of boys seeking services.
We worked with the district council. We worked with the district nursing officers. This place is not a surface place. Whether we are here or not, this place will continue to function. Your earlier question about why it is inside the health center, there is no way the DNO can ignore this clinic now, because this is now part of the health center, and that is where we are going to get our sustainability from. Those standalone interventions that sometimes we do as civil society are the ones that end up struggling, because if it was somewhere in the bush, why would the DNO go there? But this is part of his network of health points. There is no way you come to visit the health center and not check and get statistics from the clinic.